Hello. Welcome to this series of videos on Dgt-Omegat, its wizard and team base.
In this video, we present the essential information to create, translate, share memories in real time, revise and finalize a single or multi-document project.
It gives you a bird's-eye view of a whole workflow and of the kind of features you have available, so that you can later explore the ones you find more useful for your work. For more information, see the guides and the videos on specific features of Dgt-OT, its wizard and team base, with more detailed information. You can access them in the Dgt-OT wizard by clicking on the relevant buttons. So, let us start. First, you have to do a local copy of the original documents intra-desk. They will be automatically copied to the dossiers folder in your computer.
Dgt-OT accepts original documents in many formats. Of interest to us are the Office 2010 files and the HTML and XML files. It also accepts SDLXLIF files. Formats not accepted are Old Office, RTF and PDF files which have to be converted to be read by Omegat. Office format documents are the majority of our documents. As in Tradisk, the originals are available both in Office 2010 and the old format. Make sure that you copy the right original documents.
In DGT, the access to Omegat is done via the Dgt-OT wizard. The wizard integrates Dgt-OT in our workflow, automating most of the management operations. So, open the Dgt-OT wizard by clicking on the icon on the desktop. Then, click on the Clear button before starting the process. Select the source and target languages from the drop-down menu, if not already defined. Click on Add. By default, a Windows Explorer window opens in the Dossiers folder. Select the relevant folder. You can select one, several or all in a same folder, as is usually done in Windows Explorer, and press Enter.
By clicking again on the Add button and navigating the folder structure, you can select documents from a different folder to be added to the project. Accept or change the default name displayed in the Project field. Click on Create and the wizard will create the Dgt-OT project.
By default, it copies to your project the original documents and all the retrievals, translation memories and machine translation files available intra-desk for those particular documents. If the originals are in docx format, they will be cleaned of useless tags. It also copies to your project an I8 extraction with only source and target terms.
You should always have the project you are working on as the active project in the wizard, to have automatic backups to a server location, which is daily backed up by our IT unit. Now, let us see the essential steps to translate a project. Click on the Open button, which is displayed in green when the project has been created. It will open that project. Dgt-OT segments and loads the original files and loads the external memories every time you open the project.
It starts by displaying the list of the documents in your project. Click on Close to accept the opening of the first segment of the first document. If you have already translated some segments and close and reopen the project, Dgt-OT remembers the last segment you were in and opens it for translation. To display the list again to choose a different document, press Ctrl+L.
Take into consideration that in Dgt-OT, the commands undo last action and redo last action only work in the segment open in the editor.
And also take into consideration that footnotes are treated as endnotes and are displayed at the end of the relevant document.
Before you start your translation, or at any time during the translation process, you will probably want to have an idea of the work to be done, at least in quantitative terms. In the Tools menu, you can generate the statistics for the whole project by selecting Statistics.
The statistics for all the documents in the project are instantaneously displayed.
To generate the match statistics, in the Tools menu, select Match Statistics. If your project is very large, with hundreds or thousands of pages, it may take some time, but you can start working while Dgt-OT generates the match statistics, in a background operation. The match statistics are displayed for the whole project.
You can also, in the Tools menu, select the option Generate the match statistics per file, to see the repetition between documents in the project. Again, this operation may take some time, but you can work while they are generated.
If you want to record the statistics, you can, in the wizard, click on the Stats button. An Excel sheet is displayed. You can copy to the initial statistics section the statistics you generated in Dgt-Ot. And you can copy to the match statistics section the match statistics you generated in Dgt-Ot.
Furthermore, you can also generate the statistics again after translating some or many segments, and copy them to the latest statistics section. This way, you can follow the progress in your translation by hour, day or any other time by recording it in the page's translated section.
In Dgt-Ot, segments have three statuses: untranslated, translated and revised.
By default, if there is a URAMIS match above 70%, it will be automatically inserted in the segment open for translation. Correct each segment, and press Enter to validate them.
The segment you are in will be saved to the project memory, where your work is stored, and the next segment is opened.
If you want to go to another segment, far above or below, just scroll to that segment, and double-click on it, to open it for editing. If you want to go to the next untranslated segment, just press Ctrl+U.
When you leave a segment in any way, Dgt-Ot will always save the segment you were in to the project memory, before opening an untranslated or selected segment.
To insert, in the target segment open in the editor, a URAMIS match other than the first match displayed in bold in the Fuzzy Matches pane, position the cursor on the Fuzzy Matches segment you want to use.
Then, double-click on it, and use the shortcut, Ctrl+R, to insert it in the segment open in the editor, replacing the text there, if any.
The segments in the Fuzzy Matches pane are identified with the name of the document, the match rate, and also with the login of the translator, if available. If you organize the memories in subfolders, giving priority to some, they are so identified in the Fuzzy Matches pane.
External memories are all the memories in the project which are not the project memory. They are the memories automatically copied to your project by the wizard, and any you may copy directly to the project TM subfolder, including SDLX target files.
To organize the external memories automatically copied to the project, in the wizard, click on Browse. Click on the name of the project automatically highlighted. Open the TM subfolder. Now you can see the external memories copied from Tradesk. You can organize them by subfolders, giving priorities or penalties to one or more memories or groups of memories.
Machine translation does not need to have a penalty because it is stored in a separate folder, is only displayed in its specific pane, and is not mingled with human translations from URAMIS.
In this demo, we created 3 subfolders to which we gave a name meaningful to us: regulation, decision and retrievals.
We added a number at the beginning of each subfolder's name, thereby defining priorities. We dragged and dropped to those folders the relevant memories.
We also copied 2 thematic memories folders we had called Horizon 2020 and Eric. In Dgt-Ot, they will be so identified in the Fuzzy Matches and Concordance panes, and will be displayed by the order we defined, making it more user-friendly when translating.
To give a penalty to one or more memories, you can create one or more subfolder called penalty, minus the percentage penalty you want to give to it, and copy to it the relevant memories. Or you can use the penalty 50 automatically created by the wizard in each project. By default, if there is no fuzzy match within the defined threshold, Dgt-Ot will insert the MT output. To use machine translation output, as displayed in the MT pane, even when a URAMIS match has been automatically inserted in the target segment, just press Ctrl+M, and MT output will replace it.
In Dgt-Ot, tags are displayed in gray and are just sequentially numbered within each paragraph. To insert each tag, position the cursor where you want the tag to be inserted in the target segment opened in the editor, and press Ctrl+T. It will insert the first or the next missing tag in that position.
You can also right-click the mouse and choose the tag you want from the drop-down menu. If you want to delete all the tags in the target segment, in the Tools menu, select the script called Strip Tags or use the shortcut. All the tags are deleted and you can reinsert them in the correct position.
To add to the target segment formatting not present in the source segment, you can use the Dgt-specific feature format. To insert these pseudo tags, highlight the term or string you want to have in italics, bold, underline, superscript or subscript in the open target segment in the editor. Right-click the mouse and select Format. Then, click on the formatting you want.
However, the pseudo tags should be used sparingly only when such formatting is not present in the source segment. Take into consideration that each tag can, in fact, be a merge of several different formattings. So, check, in the final translated document in its native application, that there are no inadequate changes in font size or type after the pseudo tags.
Concerning fuzzy match rate, machine translation output and tags, you can change the defaults in the Editor Behavior Options menu. Select Options. Then select Editor and the menu is displayed.
Here, you can change the minimal similarity rate to any value you want for automatic insertion in the segment open in the editor. However, by default, in the Fuzzy Matches pane, fuzzy matches with lower matches will be displayed up to 10 segments. Those may be very useful to see matches at sub-segment level, namely in the case of new versions of a document.
You can also choose not to have machine translation output automatically inserted in the open segment in the editor. However, even so, empty output will always be displayed in the machine translation pane and you can easily insert it if you want.
And you can also choose to have tag validation when you leave each segment if you prefer not to do it at the end of the translation before creating the target documents.
If there are repeated segments, by default, they are displayed grayed, except in the first occurrence. In Dgt-OT, they are called non-unique segments. When you translate them, they are instantaneously auto-propagated in all the repeated segments in all the documents in the project. Any changes you may later make, if you reopen and change one of the occurrences of that segment, will also be auto-propagated in the whole project.
But, if you want the translation of a particular occurrence of a non-unique segment to be different and not changed automatically if any other of its occurrences is changed, you can define it as an alternative translation.
Just right-click the target segment and click on Create Alternative Translation. This way, that particular occurrence is dissociated from the others. It becomes linked to its previous and next segments. In the Multiple Translations pane, you can see first the default translation and below the alternative translation. The alternative translation will not be auto-propagated as you can see.
You can write a note for the segment open in the editor. Just write it in the Notes pane. You can have clickable links. When closed, segments with notes are highlighted with a flashy pink background. Neither this highlight nor the actual notes will be transferred to the documents in their native applications.
In the Go To menu, you can select Next or Previous Note to check those segments. You can also use the shortcut. This way, you can quickly open segments with notes one by one.
In the Tools menu, you can select the Write Notes script if you want to export all your notes to a file, for example, to send to the terminologist. This file is in HTML format. You can copy and paste it in Word, if you want. When you are connected to TeamBase, segments translated by other colleagues who are working on the same or related projects and also connected to that TeamBase, are displayed in the Fuzzy Matches pane. Both 100% matches and below 100% matches are instantaneously available. They are identified as coming from TeamBase.
To translate connected in real time with colleagues working on another part of your package or on related projects, in the Dgt-OT wizard, with the project you created as the active project, click on the TeamBase button.
Accept the defaults, which are to create a new TeamBase memory with the name of your project, and to work in read and write mode. Click on Connect to Shared. But you could also select a team base already created and connect to several memories. The team base window will close automatically and you can start working on your project.
You will always be in sharing mode whenever you close and reopen that project. And you can connect or disconnect from team base at any time during the translation process. By default, pre-translated segments are displayed in the editor with an color background when closed. When opened, they are identified with TM Auto and with the login of the translator, if any. In Dgt-OT, pre-translated segments are called auto-populated segments.
To do a pre-translate, press Ctrl plus Shift plus F1 to open the project folder.
To use one or more memories for pre-translation purposes, just drag and drop or copy them to the TM Auto subfolder.
You can do it before opening the project. Or you can also do it at any time during the translation process with the project open in Dgt-OT. In that case, press F5 to reload the project, thereby doing a pre-translate. Only untranslated segments will be pre-translated.
If, while translating the project, new documents or a new version of a document already in the project arrives, there is no need to create one or more new projects, nor of doing a pre-translate nor a perfect match. In Dgt-OT, you just update the same project as many times as necessary using the wizard.
To update a project, the process is basically the same as for creating a new project. In the Dgt-OT wizard, have the project you created as the active project and check the source and target languages. You must have Dgt-OT closed. Add the relevant documents which you have previously copied from Tradisk. Click on Add. Select the Dossiers folder and select the new documents. Then, instead of clicking on Create, click on Update. The wizard updates the project adding the new original documents and the translation memories and machine translation files pre-processed in Tradisk.
If it is a new version, click on Browse and select the project source subfolder to delete the previous version of the relevant document which is no longer needed. When you open the project, the segments translated in the previous version and which are a 100% match, tags included, are displayed in the editor. Segments below 100% match are displayed in the fuzzy matches pane.
To view the original document, in the Project menu, select View Source File, or use the shortcut. The original document is opened in its native application.
In Dgt-OT, there is no preview. But you can easily open, in its native application, the translated document in the editor.
Just select, in the Project menu, View Target File, or use the shortcut.
Do not forget to close any translated document you may have viewed in the native application, before viewing it again. Otherwise a message would be displayed asking you to close it. You can also have ongoing translations by colleagues from other language departments displayed in the editor, as a second language, using the View Other Target Languages feature. Just click on the respective blue icon, select the language you want and click on Import TMX2 Source. If the translation is ongoing, when you open the next segment, it is displayed in the editor below the source language.
You can have more than one other target language displayed this way. Just click again on the View Other Target Languages icon, and select another language.
Segments with tags are not displayed in the editor. To see segments with tags in other languages, select the language you want, and click on Import TM Penalty 50. The other target language is displayed in the fuzzy matches pane with a 50% penalty, in order to appear after good matches for the project language pair, if any.
If that translation is not ongoing, you will see a message saying that it is not available.
To access Quest, Uramis, I8 and DocFinder, see the icons at the top of Dgt-OT. By placing the cursor over them, its name is displayed. Just highlight the term or string you want to search and click on the Quest icon or use the shortcut.
If you want to search in a Uramis or Quest, to have the full options, click on the respective icon or use the shortcuts. To search EU official documents, select the reference in the editor and click on the DocFinder icon.
To search terms or strings in the project memory, In external memories, in glossaries and in notes, highlight them in the editor pane. Then, press Ctrl+F. As you can see, there are many options and they are really worth exploring. You can search in the project memory, in the external memories, in the glossaries, or in all or some of them.
You can also search with several combinations of expression and word modes, the combination keyword search plus lemmas being the broadest search, with the higher number of results. You can search in source, target and notes, and you can use the Boolean operators and, or, as well as and plus not. And you can search by regular expressions. And there are other options.
Accept all the defaults or change the settings as you want. Then, press Enter. The results pane displays first the segments in the project memory, preceded by the segment number.
If you click on the number of a segment in the project, that segment will be opened in the editor for editing. After the project segments, the segments from external memories are displayed, by order of priority if you have organized them in subfolders.
In the same window and using the search, you can filter the segments from your ongoing translation for editing, by clicking on the Filter button at the bottom of the search window.
Segments which fulfill the settings are displayed in the editor for editing, and you can open them and change them if necessary.
To return to the full document in the editor, click on the Remove Filter button.
You can search and replace a term or a string in the whole project. Just highlight the term to be replaced and select Search and Replace in the Edit menu. Or use the shortcut. Write the term you want to replace the text with.
To be on the safe side, select Exact Search, Whole Words and replace found text.
Click on Search and the list of segments affected is displayed, so that you can preview them before launching the replacement operation. You can replace one by one, called Replace Interactive, or Replace All.
Be careful, as you cannot undo this operation.
You can also use the Search and Pre-Translate feature. Just select it in the Edit menu, or use the shortcut. It allows you to search by some criteria and pre-translate the resulting segments, which can even be the whole project. You can copy source to target. And you can also pre-translate using the external memories with the match of your choice. Or you can pre-translate with machine translation output.
The option Translate as Source can be very useful, for instance, when you have documents with many segments only with numbers. You may want to translate them in a batch. That way, you can go to the next untranslated segment without stopping in those segments. And, furthermore, they will be counted as translated in the statistics. In this example, from the regular expression already available by default, we choose to search segments without letters. 95 segments are displayed, and can be pre-translated by copying the source to target.
As with the Search and Replace feature, Dgt-Ot displays a preview of the segments affected. Check if that is really what you want, before launching the replacement operation. You can again translate them all in batch, or validate one by one. Do not forget that you cannot undo this operation.
To search terms in monolingual documents you may have available, copy them to your project folder or any other location in your computer. You can use reference documents in formats like Office. The PFD format is not accepted.
In the editor, select the term you want to search. In the Edit menu, select Search Directory or use the shortcut. A search window is displayed.
First you must set the location where you have the monolingual documents. Click on Select Folder and you can navigate the folder structure and choose the folder with the reference documents.
As always, you have search options. Accept or change them. Then, press Search and the list of relevant segments in the reference documents is displayed.
There are terms or strings that, by default, have a blue linear and bold underline in the open segment in the editor. That means that there is one or several entries in one of the glossaries in the glossary folder of your project. They are displayed in the glossary pane in alphabetical order and fields are color-coded.
By right-clicking the mouse, one or more translation tips are displayed in a drop-down menu. They can be copied to the open segment at the position of the cursor.
In the standard project creation with a wizard, the glossary will be the I8 extraction.
In Dgt-OT, you can have as many read-only glossaries as you want, but you can only have one writable glossary. By default, the writable glossary is automatically created for each project when you create a first entry.
You create a first glossary entry by selecting the term. Then, in the Edit menu, selecting Create Glossary Entry. Or you can use the shortcut. Fill in, at least, 2 of the 3 fields.
By default, Dgt-OT creates the project writable glossary, and saves the entry, which is immediately displayed in the glossary pane. Entries in the writable glossary are displayed first.
If you want to change a glossary entry, you can open the writable glossary, by selecting, in the Tools menu, the script Open Glossary. Or using the shortcut. The glossary in TXT format is displayed and you can change one or more entries as you wish. Press Ctrl+S and the changes are immediately displayed in the glossary pane.
You can also add entries directly by writing the source term, clicking on Tab, writing the target term, clicking on Tab again, and eventually writing a note, followed by Enter. Press Ctrl+S again and the new term is displayed in the glossary pane. You can close the glossary file and continue translating.
You can also use the auto-completion features. By default, it is activated in the auto-completion menu. As you can see, there are several options. You can have autocomplete from glossaries, autocomplete from autotext, autocomplete from the character table,
and also the history completer, which presents suggestions completing or predicting words from words, not only from the project glossaries, but also from the project memory and from external memories. If you prefer not to have the suggestions, untick the option Show Relevant Suggestions automatically.
Even if you prefer not to have the suggestions automatically displayed, you can see them, by pressing Ctrl+space. This way, you can cycle through the options, select what you want to use and have it copied to the segment open in the editor at the position of the cursor.
In the Tools menu, select Validate Tags to check that there are no missed, repeated or misplaced tags in the documents of your project. You can choose to check the current document open in the editor or check all the documents in the project.
Dgt-OT displays the list of relevant segments. You can check if it is necessary to correct one or some. To be on the safe side, insert all tags in the target segments. In the case of pair tags, if, for example, you do not need a word in italics in your language, you can omit them, but make very sure that you omit them both. If you omit only one, it may happen that the translated document will not be generated in its native application.
By clicking on the number of the segment on the left, Dgt-OT opens the segment in the editor and you can correct it. Never forget to insert the footnotes tag. If you forget it, the footnote will not be in the translated documents in its native application.
To do a quality check, in the Tools menu, click on QA, Check Rules, to check for errors. The list of segments with possible errors, according to various criteria, is displayed. You can select to check all the documents or only the active document. And you can also select the criteria you want to check. By clicking on the number at the left side, the segment is open in the editor. You can correct it, if necessary.
Besides having, by default, the spelling automatically checked in the editor, you can also do a spell check for a document or all the documents in the project. In the Tools menu, select Spell Check. There are several criteria you can select. And you can add words to your dictionary or have them ignored by the spell checker. Those words are saved to the relevant language dictionary. By clicking on the segment number on the left, you can open the segment in the editor for editing. In Dgt-OT, the same language dictionaries are used for all your projects. To create the translated documents in their native applications, select, in the Project menu, the option Create Translated Documents or Create Current Translated Document. Or use the shortcut. The documents are saved in the target subfolder.
We suggest that you always check the documents in their native applications, to make sure that everything is alright. But take into consideration that any changes you make in the documents in their native applications will not be transferred to the Dgt-Ot project memory. Also make sure, before generating again one or all translated documents, that you do not have any of those documents open in their native applications.
And also take into consideration that every time you create the current or all the translated documents, all the previously generated translations will be deleted and replaced by the newly generated file or files. If you make, for instance, changes in formatting in the translated documents in their native applications, we suggest that you save them to a new folder that you can create in your project. This may be particularly important in the case of multi-document projects in which documents may be in different stages or even have different deadlines.
You can send ongoing or finalized translated documents to TraDesk in a batch operation. After creating the translated documents in Dgt-Ot, go to the wizard. In the bottom left side, in the URAMIS TraDesk section, click on Send. Then click on the Add button. By default, the target folder is displayed with the documents you have created. But you can select another folder if you have saved the documents to another folder. Select one, some or all the documents from the list displayed.
Then click on the To TraDesk box. You will see, in the dialog box at the bottom, that the documents are being sent or have been sent.
You can send to URAMIS individual memories of finalized documents, in a batch operation. First, in Dgt-Ot, in the Tools menu, select Create URAMIS Export, or use the shortcut. Select one, several or all the documents for which you want to send individual memories to URAMIS. A window is displayed, by default, always with your login. Here, you can accept or change the login which will be used to identify the translator of that document in URAMIS.
The individual memory of the documents in your project are created, in the format accepted by URAMIS, and saved in the Project URAMIS subfolder. Then, in the wizard, in the URAMIS TraDesk section, select Send. Then click on Send to URAMIS, to send the individual memories so generated to URAMIS. There is no need to select anything. The wizard will just send all the memories you have generated. You can do it at the same time as you send the translated documents to TraDesk or separately.
If your project is to be revised, here is a concise description of the revision workflow. The revision workflow has been automated when you use the original documents as source files in Dgt-Ot.
If you want, you can also use SDLX-LIF source files. In that case, see the quick guide as there are some specificities.
The revision workflow is available in the right side section of the wizard. You can send the whole project for revision. However, in the case of multi-document projects, you may want to send just one or some documents for revision. You can decide that at any time.
If you want to send the whole project for revision, be it a single or a multi-document project, you do not need to do anything in Dgt-Ot. When you have the project ready for revision, close the project in Dgt-Ot.
In the wizard, make sure you have it as the active project. In the revision section of the wizard, in the translator subsection, click on the Send button. If you forgot to close the project, you will hear a beep and see a message displayed in the dialog box saying that the project cannot be sent for revision. Just close Dgt-Ot and click again on Send.
You can accept the defaults, thereby sending the project to the server location where the reviser can afterwards get the project. But, if you want, you can change the location, for example, in the case of confidential documents which cannot be sent to the server. Or you may want to change the name of the project, as long as you keep the last part of it. Click on Send and the project will be sent.
You can see in the dialog box when the transfer has been completed. If you want, You can access the project sent for revision in its server location by clicking on Browse in the Translator section.
A Windows Explorer window is displayed in the Projects for Revision folder. Select the project you want to have the project folder displayed. You can, for example, delete external memories of no interest to the reviser or reorganize it in any other way, as long as you keep the default project subfolders. Then, inform the reviser that the project is ready for revision.
However, in a multi-document project, you may want to send just one or some documents for revision. In that case, the procedure is similar to sending the whole project, but with two differences.
First, in Dgt-Ot, you must select, in the Tools menu, the script Create Omega-T Export. Then, from the list of source documents displayed, select the document or documents you want to send for revision. Confirm that you want the segments identified with your login or change it. The individual memories of those documents will be created.
Then, in the wizard, you can still change your mind, and send the whole project by clicking here and selecting the whole project memory. As you want to send only a part of the project for revision, select the Omega-T exports you previously made. You can select some or all of them. You can change the name of the project for revision, if necessary, as long as you keep the last part of it.
Click on Send and the project is sent to the server. Then, inform the reviser that the project is ready for revision. The reviser can get the project for revision by clicking on the Get button in the Reviser section of the wizard. The Projects for Revision folder in the server is displayed. The reviser opens that folder and selects the relevant project. It will be copied to the reviser's computer and its name is displayed as the active project. The reviser can open it as usual in Dgt-Ot. Dgt-Ot displays the list of documents in the project, and the reviser can accept the document highlighted or select another one.
When the project is open for revision, the only thing the reviser must do differently from translating is to change the mode from translation mode to revision mode. To activate the revision mode, the reviser just has to click on the blue icon every time he opens that project, otherwise he will be in translation mode. The active mode is displayed at the top of the Dgt-Ot window.
The reviser opens all the segments to have them marked as revised. The revised segments, either changed or not changed, are identified with the login of the reviser in Last Revised By.
When in revision mode, the Go to Next Untranslated segment, and the respective shortcut Ctrl+U, opens the next unrevised segment, thereby skipping non-unique segments already revised. If the reviser makes changes to a segment, it is identified with the login of the reviser also in translation last modified by.
If the reviser has the last word, he can finalize the project as already explained. If the reviser does not have the last word, which is generally the case in DGT, the revised project must be sent back to the translator. The reviser must close Dgt-Ot before sending the revised project. In the wizard, the reviser clicks on the Send button of the Reviser section. The wizard displays the name which will be given to the revised project and the reviser accepts it.
The wizard displays the server location and the reviser can accept it or changes it if necessary. In the dialog box is displayed that the revised project is being sent. When the transfer is completed, the reviser can inform the translator that the revised project is available in the default server location. To get the revised project, you, as the translator, just have to click on the Get button in the Translator section and accept the default location. Then, in the list displayed in the default server folder, select the relevant revised project. A local copy is made to your computer and, in the wizard, when the transfer is completed, that project is displayed as the active project. You can open it as usual by clicking on Open.
When the project is open, you can see that the revised and modified segments, when closed, are displayed with a red background by default. If not, check, in the View menu, the option Mark Revised and Changed Segments. You can just scroll and open the so marked segments.
Or you can, to quickly open and check the segments changed by the reviser, select, in the Go to menu, the option Next or Previous Revised and Changed segment, or use the shortcuts. In the editor, the revised and changed segments are displayed without track changes.
But, in the Fuzzy Matches pane, the your unrevised segments are, by default, displayed with track changes in the target segment. If not, in the Options menu, select External TMX and tick View Diff in Target.
You can either accept all the changes or recapture the whole segment you had translated from the Fuzzy Matches pane by pressing Ctrl+R.
But you cannot accept some changes and discard others. If that is the case, you choose one of the two and make the partial changes manually.
As you will probably accept most or all of the changes made by the reviser, it should not involve much work. As you have in the editor, the clean segment has changed by the reviser and, in the Fuzzy Matches pane, your non-revised translation with track changes, there is less margin for error when accepting only some of the changes.
After checking the changes made to the project, you can finalize the project as already explained, sending the translated documents to Trodesk, and the individual memories to URAMIs.
To close this video, just a few words about preferences, relating to layout, font type and size, and color scheme. In Dgt-OT, there is basically one level of preferences. You can change them at any time, and Dgt-OT will remember your last preferences for any project you open afterwards.
In this video, some preferences have already been explained and, as you could see, the menus contained other options. Here, we call your attention to some further options that you may want to explore.
You can change the layout by clicking on the undock icon of the pane you want to move, clicking on the header with the pane's name and dragging it to the position you want. You can also resize, minimize and maximize each pane as usually in Windows.
In the Options menu, you can select Font and change the font size and type.
And also in the Options menu, you can select the Custom Colors menu to customize the background, text and segments, according to your preferences.
As you can see, there are many options.
And that is all for now. We hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching.
Bye.